Get out. Get it out of here!
Yeah. Well, I have something here, Harry. It's showtime! I love this stuff.
No, that's a trick. That's some kind of special effects.
It's on record. I'm gonna save this stuff.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Good Improv Show.
Happening right now on YouTube, and will happen later on gradio.ca. And we have a special guest with us today. We have Tyler Gooch. Tyler, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here and on gradio.ca later.
Yeah.
So it's very exciting. Be at 2 points in time at once.
Well, that's what we expect to deliver here tonight, is a transcendent experience. One that you'll kind of keep with you for all time. It'll be one of those
break through this
formative moments
space-time
in your
continuum.
life. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Justin is normally here, Justin DeVoe, the other part of Good Improv, but he decided he'd rather spend time in America. And so take that, Justin. We got an American to replace you.
Exactly.
That's right. It's like nothing has changed.
Fantastic.
All right. Well, you can find our social media stuff right there. And here come some suggestions flying on in. Boom.
Okay, we got the words Yahoo, leftover, and puppy. And those are fantastic words, which come to us by the good graces of Catherine, Tim, and Randy. And thank you very much for sending those in. Thank you to everyone who took time to send in a word. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, that business is out of the way. Now we can make some fun comedy stuff happen. Great. Hey, Jordan.
Yeah?
You remember that time that I got you a puppy for Christmas?
Yes, I do. And you bought the puppy on Boxing Day and then waited a whole year to give it to me for Christmas, keeping it in the box. And by the time I received it, it was no longer alive because it had been in the box.
It's so cheap on Boxing Day. You know, you get the specials the day right after Christmas. Such a good sale. Hard to pass up.
Yeah, incredible deal. Incredible deal.
My parents did the same thing. They kept giving me pets and they would just leave it in the box. But I don't know if you guys know this. My dad is Schrodinger, and so he would be like, "I did and didn't get you a gift this year," and I would.
That's mean to play those
box.
mind games with you like that, you know?
Right, because
Right.
if you ever opened the box, then you'd know for sure if he had given you a gift or not.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Although, think about
That
it
was
this way. Like, if things that are in the package generally are worth a little bit more on the aftermarket. So maybe you leave the pet in the box. You know, you get a little more value for it later on if you try to sell it.
Or it's like comic book rules, and once you open it, then the value plummets.
Right, exactly. So sure, a golden retriever might be worth like $250 now. But
Right.
you open the box and it's like worth, I don't know, 100 maybe?
A mint condition golden retriever in 30 years, though, that's going to be worth something.
That's going to be worth something. That's very much true. Exactly.
Preserved, uncorrupted by the pet of a human hand.
Never been petted.
Because
Not even once.
The oils on the human hand just destroy the hair of the dog. You see, once it's come into contact.
You really want to wear gloves when you handle that dog.
I think that was a Hemingway story. Baby dog, never pet.
I think
That
you
was the
might
end.
be right about that.
Oh, he was a great writer. When you think of prose. I mean,
He was a prose pro.
was a prose pro.
Professionally wrote prose.
And a bro. He was a prose pro bro.
Yeah, that's what everyone says about him.
Hey, Tyler,
Yes.
do you remember when all of the search engines delivered results about pineapples no matter what you searched for?
Oh, vividly. I remember the pineapple craze of the early 2000s. And I think that's what I think it ruined some search engines, and I think it set some search engines apart from the rest. Because I don't know what it says about our culture, but we all wanted to know about pineapples at that time. There were some sites that delivered and some sites that sadly did not.
I think that's the shame of the early 2000s internet, right? Is like a lot of those sites just fell away. We could have had so much more pineapple content that people wanted, but they refused to deliver it. They got stuck. They got stuck on peaches.
Yeah.
Couldn't get past it.
Yep. And some search
Now we
engines,
have like 3 websites everyone uses because of it.
That's right. They
Exactly.
get pushed to the top, and then the smaller, more independent pineapple websites, they get pushed all the way to the bottom of the pile.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
No, my algorithm is so messed up now. When I search for pineapples, I only get canned pineapples. I don't even get to see like what a real pineapple looks like anymore.
Oh, have you come to prefer canned pineapples?
Well,
'Cause
yeah, I guess so, because the algorithm's feeding me these canned pineapples all the time. Eventually, I'm just like, okay, I may as well have some canned pineapples.
I like.
Yeah,
it
sometimes
raw.
it knows you better than you know yourself.
Right. Here I was like a fool eating a full pineapple, just biting right into it,
I prefer raw pineapple, nude, and that's how I like to consume them.
You like it nude? You don't
I
eat
like
the
it-
outside?
I like it nude. I don't like anything garnishing it. I don't like any sauces or for it to be roasted even. I just like it's totally nude.
I like a good sauced up pineapple.
Yeah. Would you normally refer to food without sauce as nude? Is that a typical culinary term?
Yes. Yeah, if you have like a piece of chicken tender or something like that, and there's no sauce on it, no barbecue sauce or ranch, it's nude.
Nude, okay.
If you have a broccoli there and there's no ranch on it, it's nude.
Are you certain this isn't why you were fired from your chef's job?
That's possible.
If you have pasta with no sauce, they're nudes.
Nude
Nude
nudes.
noodles. Or no.
No.
All right.
Hey, Dan,
Yeah?
do you remember when you were real excited to eat leftover dog?
Yeah, I remember. But in my defense, the way you tell that story to people, but in my defense, we had just crash landed. Our plane just crash landed in the mountains. Only you and I survived, and there was that dead dog there that we ate to sustain ourselves. And yeah, of course the next day I was looking forward to a little dog meat. I'd been hungry for a long time.
You were too excited, though. You're like, where's that leftover dog? I can't get enough of
I wasn't
that.
salivating. Maybe a little. A little.
Do you
More
think
than-
it tasted better because no one had taken it out of the box? And
Oh,
it was still in premium condition?
Nice and fresh. That's right. Yeah. Exactly. You want a dog is like lobster, really. You want to kill it just before you eat it.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
great right out of the box. Like
Right out of
it's like
the
veal,
box.
where it hasn't had time to move around and stuff.
Oh, that's true.
This show is not in support of the local anima shelter. Or animal
Oh, you guys
shelter,
aren't,
because I
you
think I
guys
had a
aren't sponsored
stroke
by
right
animal
there.
shelters?
Hey, Tyler.
Yeah.
Remember that time that you were really excited because your puppy was growing up to become a man, a dog?
Yeah, when my puppy was growing up to be a man dog. Of course I remember that. The first time he sprouted a man's head,
Yeah.
and I said, what in the world is happening here?
Fair enough, too, right?
And he
You know?
spoke his first word.
Like a human being going through puberty, really. It's like, there's
Right.
certain changes take place in the body.
He maintained his dog body, but he did sprout a man's head and began to grow facial hair. And it was
The hair is consistent with being a dog.
upsetting, I think is one way that you would put it, shocking. But yeah, I mean, it made us a lot of money. We toured the country doing the Ripley's Believe It or Not
Oh, hey.
buildings.
And were people believing it or were they not believing it?
It was a mixed reaction every time.
Mixed reaction.
Exactly 50%. 50% believed it, 50% or not.
Wow. Even split. I would have expected they would have leaned one way or the other, but that's surprising.
No, that's the Ripley's guarantee, is half of the crowd will believe it, and half
won't.
will not. And everyone will leave with an opinion, one way or the other. That's their guarantee.
That's a solid guarantee, because then you know you're really getting something from them there. They're delivering
It's
what
not
they
called
promised.
Ripley. It's not called Ripley's Believe It or Not or Unsure.
Yeah,
Right.
It is.
that's right. You know, unlike places like Madame Tussauds, you know, they call it a wax museum. You go in there and all it is like statues of celebrities. You know, you don't see like big blocks of wax or like a bee's nest or anything like
Right.
that.
I'm here to see famous wax.
Right. Cool wax. Like the seal that Napoleon used to, you know, to send some military letter back then. That's the kind of wax I want to know about.
Obscure wax.
Obscure wax.
Niche wax.
Obscure wax.
An
Niche
obscure
wax would be a good name.
Obscure
for
wax.
a band.
Wax.
Yeah.
That would be a good band name.
Fun sound. Fun mouth sound. Hey, Dan,
Yes.
do you remember when you got too into being a cowboy?
Yeah, I remember when I was calling everybody buckaroo and I wore that hat and the chaps and I walked around like this. I even got a spittoon for my home.
Yeah. And then you shot that one guy because instead
Well-
of Yahoo, instead of yeehaw, he said Yahoo.
But that doesn't flow right off the tongue, right? It's like, yeehaw! That just flows right off your tongue. But Yahoo? What is that?
Something that I guess as a cowboy you just never say.
It's actually, if you were talking like a cowboy, you'd say it's something you don't cotton to.
I remember learning about that in history books, that cowboys had taken a vow to never say Yahoo.
Right.
An eternal vow.
Yeah. That's one of the sacred pacts with the land that they make. We will move cattle and we will never say Yahoo.
A lot of people don't know, but the events of the movie Tombstone are largely based around somebody saying Yahoo and setting up a blood feud between
That's in the
Earths.
post-credits scene. They reveal that.
That's
Nobody
Exactly.
sticks around, though.
And in the film Unforgiven, what do you think they wouldn't forgive the guy for?
Right.
Sense.
The one unforgivable sin.
Yeah.
Saying Yahoo.
No word.
The duels were predicated on that too, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Tyler,
Yeah.
do you remember when you took up arms to siege the office of Yahoo?
Well, how can I forget? It was on the news for 2 days.
Incredible
But,
coverage.
I was upset with them, and they covered this at length, so I don't probably need to rehash it. But I was very upset because I had come up with a search engine where you could look up facts about chocolate milk drinks called Yoo-hoo, and I felt that they had stolen my brand.
Yeah, obvious to anybody with a brain.
Right. And I don't think obviously there's very little way that you could dispute that. And I felt like I had a case and no one would listen to me. The big news agencies wouldn't have me on. And so I felt I had no course of action other than to heavily arm myself head to toe and lay siege to the Yahoo headquarters by myself, which I ran effectively for 6 or 7 years as CEO.
Yeah. And personally, I don't blame you. I think you were justified in doing so.
I'd actually say Yahoo has gotten much worse since you've been seized by police and are being now held in this federal jail.
Yeah, they drugged me out of there because, and according to this is their words, of course, not mine, but
Of
there
course.
was too much of a focus on chocolate milk content. And I said that was the point of this whole thing to begin with, right? That's like
That's
why
what
I'm
turned
here.
them around in the first place.
Right. And I didn't know that it was against the law. I have to plead ignorance on this one, but there's a threshold of chocolate milk content, and once you surpass it, you can be imprisoned.
Well, you've also got your strawberry flavored milk called Guggle. And I'm here to inform you that there's another search engine out there. You might not have heard of them.
Well,
Google.
as soon as I get out of this prison, you can bet what my number one priority is going to be. I mean,
Set
picking
that
up
straight.
picking up all those arms from the place where they give you your stuff back when you get out of jail.
Really nice they do
Yeah.
that.
That's they hold it for you. and you just show them your ID and you say, I would like all of my guns that I used to commit the crime back, and they say, here you go. And I
They're
said,
not allowed to steal from you. I mean, it's yours. They're yours.
right.
Your
This
property.
is this is still a free country, right? So I get my
Government run
gun
amok
back,
if that starts happening.
and then I asked them for directions to the Google headquarters, and I'll be on my way.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Because last time was just like a major spectacle. I've never had so much fun watching TV. You know, it's not usually somebody I know on there laying siege to a building, and some guy's like, nah, I don't know that guy.
They have a personal
Right.
connection.
Right. So I can kind of insert myself into the story a little bit, you know? Like, hey, you know that that big siege of Yahoo headquarters? Well, hey, I know the guy who did it, you know? It
Yeah,
wasn't
there's
me,
no
but-
bigger thrill than seeing someone you know on television, watching somebody else succeed, you know?
Right.
Hey,
Exactly.
Dan. Hey,
All the sieges I've tried to lay to places have been like dismal failures. Tried to take over that convenience store a couple of months ago. They kicked me out of there after like 15 minutes.
And it's hard to get the media there in time, because if you call
Yeah.
ahead and try to say, hey, could you send some cameras over? I'm about to lay siege to a place. A lot of times they send the police and they preempt you before you can even get in there.
Right. And then they stop taking your calls after a while. She's like, okay, Dad, yeah, you're going to lay siege. We'll get right on that.
Right, the boy who cried siege.
Right. You're right. Exactly. Exactly.
Yep. And you can never lay siege to a boat because the inevitable comparison to that movie, Under Siege.
Under siege, right.
You're never going to top the popularity of that. So,
That was a submarine, though.
boat, submarine, they're both in the water.
Submarine's a boat.
I guess a submarine's a
Right.
boat. But a boat's not a submarine.
Well, an unsuccessful boat is a submarine.
True.
That's right.
An unsuccessful boat is an unsuccessful submarine.
Yes, and an unintentional one, too.
Right. So really, a boat can be a submarine, but a submarine can't be a boat. Well, I
Right.
guess that's not true. A submarine could float.
Submarine
Right,
could
they have
float.
to come back up eventually.
Yeah, a submarine's got it all. It can be a submarine, it can be a boat.
Whatever you need. Hey, Dan,
Yeah.
do you remember when you walked up to Chuck Norris and asked him if you could have his leftover kung fu?
Yeah. I didn't realize that it didn't really work that way. And when he tried to explain it to me, I just insisted. I'm like, no, roundhouse kick me in the face 10 or 15 times and it'll be transferred into me.
That's how it works.
He's got
right?
plenty.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, enough to spare easily.
I've seen him kick so many guys in the head. It's not even funny. There are a couple for me. And so, you know, he did eventually. But I ain't any better at roundhouse kicking, unfortunately. If it may be worse, if anything. A lot of my motor skills are a lot worse after receiving those kicks to the head.
That's probably
Not
'cause-
just the roundhouse kicks, you know?
That's probably because he only downloaded the information halfway.
Yeah, right. Oh, I need another session.
So yeah, to complete the file transfer, you know?
Good idea.
Yeah, you've got a corrupted kung fu file in there right now.
That's what it is. Oh man, imagine that. Hey, you're in the Matrix, and somebody uploads like half a program to you, so you get into the fight thinking you're just about to kick this guy's ass, and you're like, oh, I only know how to do the stance. I don't really know.
I assume in the Matrix there would be like a LimeWire type thing where you're trying to
pirated
download stuff, but some of it's just garbage, and so like you download, you're like, this isn't kung fu, this is ballet. What's happening? Like somebody mislabeled it or something.
Right.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. There would be people out there trying to pull that off.
Sure. Matrix trolls.
Matrix trolls, yeah. That's why the Matrix could never work.
That's that, and that alone is the reason why I can't buy the premise of the movie.
Yeah, where are the trolls? Where are the trolls? Where are the ads?
Yeah, you go to watch Schindler's List and you wind up with Schindler's Lisp. It's not the movie you ask for, but it's the movie you get.
It's a good movie, though. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Great movie. It focuses just on his speaking. It's such a
Right.
character-driven drama.
Yeah, this takes place long before the Nazis were in power. This is like in his young childhood years when he had a little bit of a speech impediment.
It's just Schindler going to speech classes
Yeah,
trying to correct the list.
exactly.
Yeah, it's quite a moving story. Him working on the letter S just for months.
It's like if you took all of the drama out of the King's speech.
Yeah,
But it's basically the same movie then.
right. And they allude to the fact that he'll have a factory one day, but it's never explored.
Right.
Young Oscar, I met you on a factory one day, and she's like ruffling his hair.
Yeah, it's kind of like they imply that Anakin's one day going to be Darth Vader, but they don't like they kind of show him building the Death Star. Like they show him at the very end. He's like kind of building a factory, but I felt like there was more meat on that bone.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I agree with that. You know what? Why don't we talk about Darth Vader here for a minute? Because I've got questions about Darth Vader that don't seem to have any answers. You know, it seems to me that Darth Vader chose to be Darth Vader, right? But he never chose to like live in the crazy suit.
He had to.
He didn't have to. There's other ways. They put Luke in that tank. They could have just tanked him back to life. You know, they could have put him in the tank, had the droids fix him up, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Right. So, but instead, Luke had his hand cut off. He's not in a suit, right?
Right.
He's just got a robot hand, whatever. But he has to be in this terrible suit with his face all covered up and stuff. I don't know. I think he'd be a little mad at the Emperor, more so, right?
Does he? I haven't seen all of the films in a little bit. Does he have to wear the helmet for survival purposes, or is it just like because of social? He makes him a social pariah.
I think he has like when they show him like the suit coming down on top of his potato head. You guys know what I'm talking about there? That scene there where it comes down.
Yeah.
You can see there's like wires and stuff like connecting it onto his like actuals. And so I think he's locked in.
Yeah, and when in Return of the Jedi, when he tells Luke, he says, "Oh, don't take off my thing, I'll die."
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know if that's because he was dying anyway, or
Right, he might have just died anyway.
So that means, and this is, I don't think this is really explored the films. He has to smell terrible.
Right.
oh yeah,
Right.
Has to.
I
There's
wish they would have
no way to
talked
shower
about
in
that more. Just like it
Smell?
doesn't have to be a major plot point, but just like every now and then a stormtrooper's like, man, the boss really smells terrible. Can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah, like rotting flesh and cheese.
Right. I hate going in there because he could use the force to choke me, but also because the smell is dreadful.
And he wouldn't even notice it after a while. Suit probably filters it out for him.
Do you think that's why they always wear their helmets when they see him?
Probably.
For the air filtration?
Yeah, the smell.
Yeah, that's got to be it. And Palpatine's an old guy, so you know he's got to smell not so great himself.
Yeah, he's got his own thing going on.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm glad we answered that question.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That gives me a richer understanding of that.
This show has been entertaining and informative so far.
I thank you. Yes, I agree. A lot of people don't point out that our show is also entertaining. So thank you. I appreciate that.
You're gonna get some information. There's no doubt about that.
Edutainment. We strive for.
Hey, Jordan.
Yeah.
Remember when you did leftovers backwards and you ate the leftovers and then had the fresh meal the next day? This doesn't make much sense actually now as I say it.
Yeah. I had fresh food in my fridge and I ate the leftovers and I just lived
Right.
like that for a while.
Right. Right.
What was the technology called that you used to age the stuff you had just cooked a day to give it that 1 day age taste? That was there was a machine, I can't remember what it's called, but there was something that you would take your fresh food and it says, we guarantee when you take it out, it will taste like leftovers.
Yeah, what was that machine, Jordan? You were bragging about that machine all last week.
Right.
Oh yeah, that machine, the leftover blaster, 16,000.
5,000.
Yeah, 5,000er was tacked onto the end there too.
Added an extra 5,000 of power.
Yes, the leftover blaster, 16,000.
And you could set it to any time period from a day to a month, and you press the setting within a minute, it would open back up, and your food would taste like
Ready
it
to
was
go.
that old.
Yeah, and which was dangerous for me because I decided to use it like a fool.
Mhm.
And
Why
You
would
paid
you
all that money
bought it?
for it. You bought it.
paid all that money for it, yeah. And I just started getting really into eating rotten food.
Rotten food.
Yeah, and when I tried to go back to normal food, my stomach just turned because my body was used to eating this rotten, disgusting food.
I mean, is it possible your body was just rejecting the rotten food that it had consumed previously?
No, that's how
heard-
I like it.
I've heard rotten food can be good for you. Like there's some people that eat raw meat and they think that's good for you. I've heard that if it's the other end of the spectrum, you got to eat just gnarly food with mold on it and stuff, and that's what helps build up your immune system.
Exactly, as rotten as possible. And you know what? I get really marginalized because I go out to a restaurant and no restaurant is willing to prepare these dishes for me.
None of them? They won't.
Yeah.
They won't go to your dietary habits.
Oh,
Do you bring the leftover Blaster 5000er and set it on the table and say, "Will you please put
Run
the
it
food
through
in here?"
this.
I tried that in the past, but I got into a lot of confrontations with maitre
I could
d's,
see that.
aggressive hosts.
It is very loud and uses a lot of electricity.
Yeah, it's louder than a leaf blower.
That's the thing nobody talks about is how loud it is.
Yeah, and its battery
Definitely.
its battery isn't very good, so I bring a diesel generator with me.
That's good. To keep it running
that's
for the
just-
length of time that you need it to run.
Yeah,
That's just good sense.
exactly.
And then you get those good diesel fumes that a lot of the your Michelin star restaurants crave.
Yeah,
Oh no. So nobody in town, hey?
no one at
Jeez.
all. Treat me like I'm a freak.
I think you've got legal recourse there. I think people that eat rotten food are a protected class.
I think so too.
They can't
should
be
be.
discriminated against.
It should be. Who's advocating for me? No one. I'm voiceless.
Until right now. This is where we start the hashtag. Everybody get on Twitter right now. Hashtag rotten
Rotten food eaters unite
rotten food
as
eaters
one.
unite.
That's the hashtag. Rotten food eaters unite as one. The hashtag, and put that.
You're
up.
not gonna
That's
have-
the hashtag.
You're not gonna have many characters left for anything else, so it's just gonna be the hashtag in the tweet.
It's
but-
mostly a hashtag movement right now. We don't really have many thoughts to share.
It'll build. It'll snowball into something bigger than a movement.
Do you guys remember when on opposite day, instead of eating leftovers as a child, you would eat right unders?
I remember
yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, right unders were right on, man.
yeah. Your parents would force you into your room, and you'd have to go under the bed, and they'd
Yeah, you'd
throw
have to go
whatever
right
they-
under to
Yeah,
eat.
they'd have to throw whatever they wanted you to eat underneath there. They remembered about you.
Yeah,
It was
in
only
between-
on opposite day. But
Oh.
you never knew when opposite day was, because if you asked someone and they were like, no, you're like, oh, that could be, it's not opposite day, or it is.
Right. You
Opposite.
just don't know. Opposite day basically destroyed my ability to trust anyone at any time. Because at any
Right.
time, it could be opposite day. And somebody could just be, I don't know what they're doing, you know?
I looked forward to opposite day because opposite day my mom would beat me rather than my dad.
Hey, that's all right.
Yeah, and she was a little bit weaker than him, you know, so the
It wasn't
blows
quite
weren't,
so devastating.
weren't quite so devastating or as intense. Sorry, I just had a little PTSD there.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I wasn't sure if the opposite was you beating her, or
No, no,
that
no.
was like,
The norm would be beatings from my father, but opposite day was
Right,
a special.
okay. Okay, I see. She would beat you, and then you would beat your father.
If I tried to beat my mom on opposite day, oh, my dad had beat me. Oh, I made that mistake more than once.
Then you get into the vicious cycle because then he's beating you on opposite day.
Right.
Right, which the
No,
next
with
year
the
I
thought-
try to beat him.
That's just it. Opposite day can get confusing very quickly. That's the thing.
It's easy to circle. It's you get
Easy to
you get in a
circle.
circle like that, you can't get out.
No, I tried to use it was opposite day as a defense in court, but the judge wasn't having that either. My confession was allowed into the record. I wasn't allowed to strike it based on opposite day.
I do
Not a
think that's
valid
a
objection.
Valiant effort.
you should be able to say like it's my religion to practice opposite day, and Your Honor, like I was just practicing my religion at the time, so I can't be held liable for laying siege to that building, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And then if the judge asks, well, is it opposite day today? You can say, how dare you not be familiar with the customs of people who celebrate this holiday?
Right.
You know
Do you
what?
own a calendar, idiot?
Yeah, geez, look at the calendar.
And also, if you laid siege to a building on opposite day, that means everyone else was, if it hadn't been opposite day, they would have been laying siege to it. They were doing the opposite. So really, you were doing the right thing by laying siege to it, because then on not opposite day, you would be not laying siege to the building.
That's bulletproof logic. I can't see a single flaw with that.
It's rock
Can't
solid.
either.
Airtight.
Well, we might have just found a loophole in the legal system.
We're gonna get you out of here. We are gonna get you out of here.
Watch out, Google. I'm coming for you.
Hey, Jordan.
Yeah.
Remember when you were convinced that your dog had cheated on you?
Yeah. The look in that dog's eyes told me that it had been petted and walked, maybe even.
Walked? You think it went that far?
Could have been walked, could have been petted.
You think the dog licked somebody else?
Licked the hand,
Oh
yeah.
my god, the hand? Not the face, though. Not the face.
I think maybe the face, maybe
Oh my
the nose.
God. Have you guys been to counseling?
No, I'm afraid to bring it up. Because if I confront my dog, I know my dog cheated. And
Yeah.
if I confront my dog, we're going to have the conflict. But if I don't confront the dog, I'll just have it in the back of my mind the whole time, just constantly thinking about the fact that it happened.
Well, hold on. Maybe the dog's changed. Has the dog recently come home with any like new bandanas or collars around its neck that you can't explain?
Yeah.
Oh, it did. Oh, shoot.
Yeah, and the dog is like, oh, I'm going out and getting these. They're not gifts from someone else, putting a collar on there, or a new leash, or anything like that.
Came out with a new leash?
Yeah, went on quite the spree.
A bandana is one thing. That's just maybe like a sugar mama or something. But a leash, that's a commitment. There's feelings there.
Yep, and I could detect the scent of milk bones on my dog's breath.
God.
I don't buy milk bones.
Oh God.
Ow.
Are
I
they
buy milk bones. They're the off-brand, is much cheaper.
are milk bones made with milk?
I think they are.
Because they
Milk
feel
of cheaters.
not like milk. When you pick it up, you would say this does not feel like milk. Of all the substances, it feels maybe the least like milk.
Oh, they should make milk bones kind of like that chocolate
Wait.
bar there.
Does milk traditionally have bones? And like I've just been drinking boneless milk,
All milk
they've been
is
using
boneless, I think.
and they give the bone. They take the bone, they debone it, and then they put some of those in dog treats.
Oh, that makes sense. That's where the saying comes from. So the bones were from the milk, and that's why they milk bones. That's why they would call them that.
Right, because
Oh.
they've deboned the milk. Because we always drink boneless. Do you guys drink boneless or do you drink bone in?
We have boneless milk here in Canada.
Yeah, you can't get bone-in milk anymore around these parts.
Okay, yeah, it's hard to find here, but you can, if you look hard enough on some farms, some underground farms, will give it to you.
You got to get it before they put it in the cartons and
Yeah.
ship it out.
Yeah, well, the bones poke through the cartons. That's why they can't put it in there.
Exactly.
You know why they discontinued it up here? They said it was horrifying people who were trying to drink it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Women, kids, some men even.
A bone is in their milk and they're screaming in terror. It's like, geez.
Where do you think it comes from? It comes from nature.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Part of the milk.
Like screaming after you're done eating a drumstick, a chicken leg. It's like, oh, what's this? What have I done?
Yeah, what did you think it was? I don't know. I like to use I'm descended from Native Americans, so my family, we like to use the whole milk, and so we use the bones, we use the
Every part of it.
the milk part. Really, it's just those two parts, but
No waste.
so some of the milk skin, we use some of that.
Yeah.
I like a little bit of milk and a little bit of sugar in my ayahuasca. Typically, it's a 1-to-1 ratio.
Yeah,
One part sugar to 1 part milk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, one milk, one sugar, one ayahuasca.
Right, of course.
I would just do the milk and sugar, just sweet milk.
A little bit of sweet milk.
Yeah, if you want
Now
to
the-
drink some ayahuasca, you're really going to want to go into the desert with that.
Miles away from anyone.
It's got those cool lines,
And go so far that you run out of gas. That's ideally how far you want to go. Right to the extreme.
Now, when you when you drink your, I guess, boneless milk, you guys going skim 1%, 2% whole, even
Whole milk,
God forbid.
3.25. Gotta get that homo.
No, I stop at 2. I'm scared to cross
Okay.
that threshold.
Yeah, I've cut back to 1. I used to have a problem, but so I'm slowly weaning myself down. But I was reading a thing about milk fat percentages. Well, I didn't read the whole thing. I skimmed it about fat-free milk. I skimmed the.
So you probably only read like 1 or 2% of the information.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Calcium.
That's really all you need. Any more than that, it's too much.
Hey, Tyler,
Yeah.
do you remember when there was that puppy dog, and it was a famous puppy dog, and it was on stage in front of everyone, and they adored this dog, and you stormed the stage with a knife gun and lunged at the young dog and tried to stab it?
Yeah. Yeah, that was just the other week. I think I remember that. Everybody knows that story of Bark Chappelle, and I ran on and I didn't know if it was this, and this is maybe a lesson for anybody watching. I didn't know if I was going to a knife fight or a gunfight, and you don't want to bring a knife to a gunfight, obviously. So I brought a knife gun
Back up.
to be prepared for anything.
Yeah.
Smart.
You know,
And,
I think it was a good thing you did, because I think a lot of the barks that dog is doing are stolen from other dogs. I got a compilation video of barks followed by this dog's barks, and they sound oddly similar to me. I don't know.
Yeah, they sound lifted for sure.
Maybe I'm crazy here.
Yeah, I was walking through my neighborhood the other day, and I heard this dog, and I was like, "Hang on, that's where he got that bit from?"
I think
It came from
definitely. And then the howl at the end. It's word for it's bark for bark, I guess you'd
right,
say.
growl, growl, bark, howl. I was like, okay, I know this bit. I've heard this on the albums and seen it on the specials.
And then close it off with that.
The whimper, yeah.
You know?
That's his catchphrase.
America's dog.
Bad when you learn that stuff about, a dog you looked up to. You find out it doesn't have the morality you wish it did. Like your dog cheating on you there, Jordan, for instance, I
Right,
used
never
to love
meet your
your
heroes.
dog.
You know what? Dogs are still man's best friend. I'll say it. And that'll never change. And I love dogs.
Do you feel like you've been best friend zoned by the dog at this point?
Yeah, I do. I feel like the relationship has changed. And, it's just not the same. The dog could be catching anybody's frisbee. You know what I mean?
Does he still
Right.
catch it when you throw it, though, at least?
Goes and picks it up once it hits the ground.
Wow. It's
Doesn't
like
jump for
cursory
it
effort
anymore.
doesn't jump for it, though.
Just going through the motions at this point.
That's tough.
Yeah, the zest, the zeal is gone.
Tough. Well, does he still sleep
guys
at
are
the foot
just-
of your bed, or is he
No.
on the couch now, or what?
No, it's wherever. It crashes wherever.
Whatever. At least he comes home at night, right? He's not spending nights at other people's places.
Sometimes.
Wow.
Do you feel like you guys are just staying together for the puppies? Because it would be too hard on them if you broke up?
Yeah,
I'm hearing.
I think so.
I'm
No.
hearing.
Well, you do what you have to do.
Jordan, there are other dogs out there, okay? You can get another dog.
I don't want another dog.
What about a little poodle, huh? Something a little different from your current dog.
I don't know. Their fur is all curly and weird and
Okay,
poofy.
fine. Like a chihuahua, maybe, then. There's other types of dogs. There's all kinds of dogs from around the world, Jordan. Explore. You bought the first dog you saw in the pet store,
I can get you hooked up with a very good Dane.
Ooh.
A very good Dane, not a great Dane.
You used to be great. It's a little older now, but is available. And still pretty good.
I don't know. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, but you can teach a new dog old tricks.
Yeah.
That's
That
true.
logic checks out.
true.
I
That
ran it
makes
through
sense.
the fact check, and that's true.
Right. Maybe we just go. You know what? Why don't you just go out to the dog track and watch a few dogs run around, just blow off a little steam? You're not petting another
Throw some dollar
dog.
bills at him.
Yeah, you're just looking at the dogs, throwing some money at them. That's all.
I'm not touching. I'm not
You're not
touching.
touching them at all.
Feels wrong. It feels so fast and loose.
They are going very. Those dogs can reach incredible speeds, Jordan. Some of these dogs these days. I've seen your dog run. These dogs, the way they run, Jordan.
That's the only thing on their mind. Running. Just chasing that rabbit.
Yeah, I've seen your dog before. It's like these dogs. Oh, they'll blow your mind the way they chase after stuff with zeal.
Zeal, Jordan, a new zeal. Like when your dog first met you, it had that. When you came home, it was really eager to see you.
Yeah.
Now it just lifted its head up and then right back down to sleep.
It was a zealous dog at first. That's how I'd describe it. Not overzealous, mind you, but zealous enough to be interesting.
Maybe you don't want a fast dog. Then maybe you want a guard dog, huh? Something a little more tough. Maybe a pit bull, huh? Something dangerous.
That does sound dangerous.
What about a German Shepherd?
Ooh, foreign.
And not the dog, just like a guy that owns a sheep farm in Germany.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, you guys can just talk about stuff. Talk about
Talk about
sheep and
dogs.
stuff.
Just talk about sheep and stuff, yeah.
If you get a sheepdog, a bunch of sheepdogs, will a German Shepherd try to herd it?
Yeah, it's inevitable. I think if they
Is
come
that why
close
they're called
enough.
sheepdogs? Because they're descended from dogs and sheep?
From both.
Hybrid.
Like a
Yeah.
pineapple is from a pine tree and an apple tree.
Right, that's correct.
Right. So maybe the same thing happened with sheep and sheepdogs. That does make sense.
The logic checks out again.
Yeah, and
Makes sense.
I looked it up on Yahoo and it said that was correct. So
You guys remember when anything you tried to fact check online, it would always say fact check true, no matter what? Like, did Hitler have duck feet? And it would say, yes, Hitler had duck feet. Fact check true.
well, I mean that's a bad example. He did have duck feet.
Yeah, come on, that's obvious.
Right, okay, but other outlandish things, not some normal thing like the thing I just said.
Right.
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
I remember it too.
There was like that 5-year period where they hadn't invented the fact check false screen yet. They spent years trying to develop the false, where it says false, and so everything was true.
They were trying to get the font just perfect, and they couldn't decide.
There was a big like, oh, are we going to use Times New Roman or Helvetica discussion that went on for like way longer than it should have.
Yeah, it wasn't even like a crazy font. It was like one of the normal ones that they normally
Right.
use on stuff.
Yeah, launched a
The
new
one guy floated
civil
web
war.
dings and he was fired immediately.
Yeah, escalated to the point of war.
Right.
War.
Yeah, I remember the font wars.
Tough times.
Hard to forget. They
I
sieged
fought
the capital.
I fought under the Comic Sans banner myself. Yeah, we did. Okay, fine. We committed a lot of atrocities. Okay. Trying to move past that now. Okay. We're not included in an operating system anymore. People have elected to not do that. Fair enough.
I think warfare really turned around when they made one key change. You know how they got the guy who's always carrying the flag and he's always moving forward? And then they added stand-up comedians to that. They'd have a guy beside him just doing jokes, and then if he got killed and dropped the microphone, someone else would pick it up and start
Yeah.
Yeah.
doing crowd work, like, hey, so where are you from? And all that stuff.
Right. And it's hard to do crowd work in the middle of a battle because it's so loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, the crowd's distracted.
What?
You know.
What?
Yeah, there's so many other things for them to watch, things exploding.
Yeah. Hey, who's from out of town? Everyone's just getting shot and stuff. It's like, you're not giving me a lot to work with here.
But the numbers on those war shows, through the roof. Some battles have thousands of troops.
And that's why you keep doing the gigs. Like it's the audience is too big to look over.
That's right. And
That's your dream is you do a good bit and it goes viral and you get picked up for a Ken Burns documentary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you do the evergreen material so both sides can enjoy it. They're fighting, but not at you.
Yeah. Well, you start maybe in like a small regional conflict somewhere. You work your way up to an intense civil war.
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I did
Next
my
thing-
first open skirmish.
Exactly. Next thing you know, it's like a foreign invasion. Like, America's invading Iraq. Okay, I'm on tour now.
I think if you're
Right.
serious about being a comedian, you do the war circuit before you start doing the road and the clubs. Because that prepares you for the shock and horror that you're going to witness in some of those
Yeah,
places.
you can't do like large theaters until you've done theaters of war.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
that's how you know your material is good.
Exactly. That's how you test it.
If you can get a laugh in the midst of a bombing, you can get a laugh anywhere.
That's a really good point. If you can get that laugh, that is a fucking good joke. Whatever that joke is amazing.
Whatever gets people in a foxhole giggling, you're like, okay, this is gonna work.
Big winner.
At the Chuckle Hut in Topeka.
Well, that's a good note to end things on, I think.
Yeah, let's wrap it up right there. That sounds good.
Well, thank you so much for joining our show tonight, Tyler. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. This was great.
Do you have anything that you'd like to promote? I know you're a writer. You're doing all sorts of stuff. You got projects.
Yeah, I got. You can follow on Twitter or Instagram at the Real Gucci. I have a podcast available wherever you can download podcasts that I update sometimes, called Crime and Punishment. It's a 5-minute long fake crime podcast filled with as many puns as I can fit in there.
Fantastic.
Sounds fun.
It's great. Well, thank you so much to everyone who watched this episode. We really appreciate you as well.
Yeah, the army grows ever stronger. We're at 48 now. Tomorrow, 1 million. So if you want to be part of that train, all you got to do is, hit the subscribe button and like the video.
That's right. Launch a war on the subscribe button and give it everything you've got.
All right. See you next time, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.